Today at Headlight Revolution, I have my Ford F-150 pulled in the shop, and if you've got an 18 F-150 like this one, I'm going to show you guys the best possible lighting upgrades you can do on the rear of it. We're going to start with the license plate frame from Xenon Depot. I'm going to show you guys the world's brightest reverse lights in the tail lights, and to finish the video off, we're going to do the cargo lights and license plate lights as well. If you got a truck like this one, follow me. I'll show you exactly how to do all of this. Now the first thing we're going to install today is the Xenon Depot license plate light. Now this is a very new product. We actually just reviewed it on the channel. You can check that video out if you want a little bit more information about it. But this thing packs an enormous punch if you're installing it on the back of your truck, your car, your SUV, whatever. If your truck came with factory LED reverse lights, there wasn't much you could do prior to this product. You were really stuck with what you had. You couldn't replace the bulb. Thankfully with this thing, you can mount it to just about any vehicle, and it is unbelievably bright. Now, installing it is as simple as removing these two screws that hold the license plate on. Now, one thing you'll want to take note of is you do have a wire here coming off the right side of the license plate bracket, and you're going to see a little relief notch here. Now, Xenon Depot does include a grommet on this wiring that you can bring up, so if you have to drill a hole for your vehicle, you can use this grommet and the wires won't chafe or rub through. On this particular vehicle, since I've got this plastic bumper right here, and I don't mind drilling into it, I'm actually going to drill in exactly behind the license plate bracket, pass the wiring through just like this so that it's completely clean and I won't see any exposed wiring. How you want to do this step is up to you, but that's how I'm going to do it. So if you want to drill the hole behind the license plate bracket, the way you're going to want to do that is install the screws loosely. And you're going to want to mark the location of the wiring, exactly where it punches through the bumper here. Go ahead and do that. I'm using a razor blade to just leave a light little mark on the plastic. Go ahead and take the bracket off and drill your hole. Now, like I said, there's a few different ways to do this. If you don't want to drill a hole directly behind this plate bracket, you certainly could use the grommet and have the wiring come up over here, or you could even tape it so that it's black and run it over the top if you don't want to drill into your truck. Now go ahead and fish the wire through the hole. Now at this point, go ahead and put your license plate back where it was, put the license plate bracket right over the top of it, and install your screws. Now as you can see, the way I showed you guys how to do this today is a pretty clean way of getting things done. There's no exposed wiring, you can't see the hole, it looks like this thing came from the factory, and thankfully on these F-150s there's nothing behind here that could be damaged by drilling. You should always double check that before you get started. Now we need to run this wiring up to the taillight. The easiest way to do that is to follow along the back of the bumper and bring it up to the taillight itself. I'm going to remove the taillight. As you can see, that license plate bracket blends in really well with that black bumper. Now, we need to get it wired in. The easiest way to do that is to pop the taillight out, run the wiring up to the taillight area, and solder it at that point. Now, what's sweet about removing the taillight on this truck is you can use the same size socket that held your license plate on to do it. It's an 8mm socket. There's a bolt on top here and a bolt on the bottom. Go ahead and remove those. With those two bolts removed, go ahead and pull the taillight toward you. With your taillight popped out, go ahead and unplug this main harness right here. That way the taillight's not dangling on the paint while we do our work. You're going to want to take your Xenon Depot license plate wiring and run it through this opening here to the back of the taillight. It's totally exposed underneath the truck and very easy to reach. You can almost do this without even getting dirty. Just pass the wiring up with one hand and catch it with the other. Now that we've got our license plate wiring ran up to our taillight area, we can pull the factory loom back on this wiring. And what we want to do here is connect the power and ground from the license plate light itself to the power and ground going to the reverse light circuit. You definitely want to do some testing here and make sure that the wiring you're connecting to is for the reverse light. You can use a multimeter or a test light to do that. In this case, I have tested these wires on this 18 F-150 and it came out to be this green wire turned out to be the positive wire and this black with yellow turned out to be the ground. Once again, don't just take my word for it. You should definitely test on your own vehicle just in case things have changed. but this is what worked out for us. Go ahead and strip the wiring for your license plate light. And you could strip the wiring on the factory connector here. I got these strippers at a local parts store. They are super handy for stuff like this. If you're looking for something to get this job done, these worked really well. We'll be soldering these connections today. You certainly could use a T-tap or another wire splice like that. It's totally up to you. I prefer to solder. It just seems to last longer, seems to hold up to the elements a little bit better, and I don't want to have any problems with this thing after I get it installed. At this point, you can tape up your solder connections and make everything look like factory again. At this point, I usually like to put all of the wiring back in the factory loom if possible. It just cleans it up so much nicer, makes it look like we were never even here. Now is a great time to go underneath the truck and zip tie the wiring for the license plate light. Keep it out of the way of anything that's going to move. Don't wind it around the spare tire or anything like that. Thankfully, you don't have far to go with it under there. It's a pretty straight shot up to this taillight area. Now, one of my all-time favorite products on this channel are the 1000 lumen reverse lights from GTR Lighting. You've probably seen us install these things before, and they are unbelievably bright, especially in this factory taillight housing. Remove your factory reverse light bulb, and the 1000 lumen reverse light has this special blue grommet here, and this press fits into the taillight housing itself, just like that. And then you take this end and plug it into the factory taillight socket. Clicks in just like that. Now, if for whatever reason you get this whole thing assembled and it doesn't turn on, chances are this could be backwards, so just pop it out, flip it around, plug it in the other way. But it's really that easy, and this is probably one of the best upgrades you can do on this truck for the rear of your F-150. At this point, we can plug our taillight back in, reinstall it, and do the other side. Now, our F-150 is unbelievably bright when we click it into reverse, but we're not quite done with our upgrades just yet. We still have the cargo lights to do, and we've got the license plate lights. Now, in my opinion, the license plate lights are pretty underrated on vehicles like this. A lot of people don't realize that when you're working on the back of the truck at night, such as when you're hooking up a trailer, trying to get those safety chains connected, trying to plug in your four-way, you can't quite see what you're doing with the factory dainty yellow license plate lights. With a bulb like this, you get these things installed and you've got all the light in the world to see what you're doing. Now, this is one of the easiest installs I'm going to show you guys today. All you have to do is crouch down like I am, reach up here, you're going to feel a little socket, and if you twist it counterclockwise, you can remove the factory license plate light bulb. At this point, it is as simple as pulling this bulb out and installing the new GTR lighting bulb. Now, this is the brightest bulb that you can install in this particular location on this truck and still have it fit and clear the lens. It's a very tricky spot. Go ahead and reach it back up there and click it in place. Now go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now, with those license plate lights looking that nice and that white and that bright, there is no way we could leave those cargo lights looking like that. So let's hop up there and get those things upgraded. Little spoiler alert, we are going to use the 1000 lumen reverse lights from GTR Lighting. These are a reverse light, but on this particular truck, there's enough space behind that third brake light housing to fit these things, and let me just tell you, they are unbelievably bright. If you've ever been unable to see what you got going on in the bed of your truck at night, these things will fix that problem. Now, there are 4 7mm screws going across this third brake light housing here. Go ahead and work your way across. And with the screws removed, you can just pull the housing out and you'll see where our cargo lights are going to go. Twist these. This is what our factory T15 cargo light bulb looks like. Go ahead and remove that from the socket. We can plug in our GTR Lighting 1000 lumen light right here, and you can twist it into the housing, just like we did with the reverse lights. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys, these things are overkill back here. They are the brightest option possible for your cargo lights. We do have less bright options, but I figured if you're watching this video, you probably want the best stuff. Do the same thing for the other side. Now, as you can see, they fit just fine. Before you screw this thing back in, go ahead and give them a test, and if you brought your keys with you, you can just unlock your truck, and they will come on. As you can see, those are much brighter than stock. As you can see, we've completely transformed the rear of this F-150. If you've got a truck like this, let me just tell you from experience, I drive this truck every single day. I've hand chosen the products that I've shown you in this video today. This stuff is the brightest possible for the rear of your truck, and I guarantee you if you pick it up, you're going to be very happy with it. Now, if you need any other upgrades for your F-150, if you need something for the front end, you haven't upgraded the headlights yet, we've got bulb replacement guides, we've got video reviews, we've got a very in-depth review on the Morimoto XB LED headlights. That's what I run on this F-150, and I love them. So if you need anything else for your F-150, please click subscribe. We got a lot of content coming out, and I don't want you to miss a thing.